Baby, I don't even know how to begin this message because every word I try to write carries the weight of years I never stopped thinking about you. Every sentence trembles under the pressure of everything I once felt but never said. And now, after so much time, after life has twisted us into two very different people living two very different stories, here I am, typing these words with shaking hands because my heart refuses to stay silent anymore. Well, baby, I know I lost the right to even call you that. I know I forfeited the right to speak softly into your soul the moment I walked away, the moment I let the noise of the world drown out the music we made. But you have to understand, I never stopped loving you, never stopped hearing your laughter in the quietest parts of my mind, never stopped remembering how your soul felt like home, even when everything else in my life felt foreign. Even when everything else in my life felt foreign. I'm married now. That sentence alone should keep me from reaching out. But the truth is, it's the very reason I am reaching out. Because marriage didn't erase you. Time didn't erase you. Even love in another form didn't erase you. If anything, it only highlighted what you were and what I lost, baby. When I wake up next to someone who knows me but doesn't understand me, I think of you. When I sit across a dinner table and smile, because I'm supposed to, I remember how, with you, I didn't have to try to be happy. Happiness was the natural language between us. With you, silence was never awkward. It was sacred. With you, love wasn't a duty. It was destiny. And destiny, oh, how it plays cruel games with our hearts. It shows us glimpses of what's meant for us, and then it takes it away to teach us lessons we never wanted to learn. I was too weak back then, too scared. I thought choosing the right path, the one that looked good to the world, the one my family approved of, was what I was supposed to do. I convinced myself that sacrificing my heart was the price of being a responsible man, but, baby, the truth is, I wasn't responsible. I was a coward. I chose comfort over connection. I chose expectations over emotion. I chose silence over soul, and I've been paying the price ever since. There are nights, more than I can count, when I stare at the ceiling and wonder how my life would have been if I had chosen you. I imagine waking up next to your smile, holding your hand while we chase dreams, laughing over coffee about stupid things only we understand. I imagine the life that never was, the love story that got paused but never ended. And here's the part I never told anyone. I read your messages, every single one, even the ones I never replied to. I still have them, tucked away like sacred scriptures in the corners of my memory. Every word you ever said to me still echoes in the chambers of my chest. Do you know why I messaged you today? Because after all this time, after all the years and choices and changes, your energy still calls out to me. Because no matter how much I tried to silence it, my soul never stopped searching for yours. Because I'm done pretending that you were just a chapter. You were the story. You were the love, baby. I want to say sorry. Not the kind of sorry that's polite or convenient, but the kind that comes from the depths of a man's broken soul. I'm sorry for every tear I caused. Sorry for making you doubt your worth. Sorry for letting you believe you weren't enough, when the truth is, you were more than I ever deserved. still remember the way you looked at me, like I was your entire universe. Do you know what that gaze did to me? It terrified me, because I didn't think I could ever live up to the love you were giving. I didn't think I was worthy of the way your soul saw mine, so I ran. And I told myself it was for the best, but baby, running from you was like trying to outrun my own heartbeat. Impossible and pointless. Every significant moment in my life since then, every celebration, every milestone, every so-called achievement felt incomplete because the one person I wanted to share it with wasn't there, because the only voice I longed to hear cheering for me was silent, because the hand I wanted to hold was the one I let go of. People say love fades, that time heals, that if it was meant to be, it would have been, but they don't understand this. They don't understand soul ties. They don't understand what it's like to carry someone's essence inside your chest, even when you haven't spoken in years. They don't understand that some loves don't end. They evolve. They transform. They haunt. And baby, you haunt me in the gentlest, most painful, most beautiful way. I've watched your life from afar, not obsessively, but quietly. I've seen your strength, your growth, your glow. I've seen you rise from the ashes of what I burned down. And I need you to know, I'm proud of you. I'm so damn proud of the person you became. But a part of me aches, knowing I'm no longer part of your story. There's something I have to confess. Something I never said aloud before. Every time I look at the person I married, I see the safe choice. But every time I think of you, I see the right choice. And that difference has been the heaviest burden of my life. Baby, this message isn't to complicate your world or to pull you into mine. I know it's too late for fairy tales. I know we can't rewrite the past. I know I have responsibilities and a life that's not just mine anymore. But I needed you to know the truth. That even in this life, I built without you. You were always the missing piece. You were the unanswered prayer, the unfinished chapter, the love that shaped me even in absence. And maybe, just maybe, destiny isn't done with us yet. Maybe the story we thought ended is only waiting for divine timing to bring it back around. Or maybe we were never meant to end up together in this life, but our souls will always find each other. Baby, if nothing else, I hope this message reaches your heart and whispers the truth I was too afraid to say. I loved you then. I love you still. I will always love you. If you feel this deep soul confession, type "Our story isn't over" in the comments. Baby, there's something you need to know before I go any deeper into this confession. The day I chose to walk away from you wasn't the day I stopped loving you. It was the day I started betraying myself. Because leaving you wasn't just about letting go of a person. It was about tearing away a part of my soul that was never meant to be separated. And ever since that day, every sunrise and every sunset has been a silent reminder of the love I buried alive, the love that still breathes inside me, waiting for a chance to speak. Do you know what the cruelest part of destiny is, baby? It's not the heartbreak. It's not the distance. It's not even the silence. The cruelest part is when the universe shows you exactly what your heart was made for, and then snatches it away before you could truly hold it. And then you spend the rest of your life pretending that you're fine, pretending that you've moved on, while deep inside your heart is still living in that one chapter where everything felt right. I remember the exact moment I realized I was still in love with you. It wasn't a dramatic epiphany. It wasn't triggered by some big event. It was something small, something so ordinary yet so powerful. I was standing in the kitchen, listening to a song playing in the background, a song I hadn't heard since the day we last spoke, and in that instant, my soul betrayed every illusion I had built around me. I broke. I cried. I whispered your name into the emptiness, because I knew, no matter how much time had passed, my heart was still yours, baby. The truth is, I never stopped writing to you. I never stopped talking to you in my mind. Every night, before I fall asleep, I have conversations with you that you'll never hear. I tell you about my day, my fears, my regrets, my dreams. I ask the universe if you still think of me, if your heart still remembers the way mine does. I trace the outlines of your memory in the dark and pretend you're still here, lying next to me, breathing the same air, dreaming the same dream. Do you know how many times I've typed messages to you and then deleted them? Hundreds, maybe thousands. I'd stare at the screen, my heart screaming everything I wanted to say. I miss you. I'm sorry. I still love you. And then fear would paralyze my fingers. Fear that you had moved on. Fear that you had healed. Fear that hearing from me would reopen wounds you spent years trying to close. And yet, here I am now, sending this message. Because my silence has become heavier than my guilt. Because living with the what if is worse than facing the rejection I might receive. Baby, I need you to understand something very important. I didn't choose my current life because it was better. I chose it because I was weak, because I was scared of disappointing people, because I thought being a good son, a good man, a good husband was more important than being true to my heart. But now I see the truth. What's the point of living a life that looks perfect on the outside but feels hollow on the inside? There are nights when I lie awake next to someone who calls herself my partner, and I still find myself reaching out into the darkness, searching for you. My heart doesn't respond to the voice that speaks to me now. It still listens for yours. And every time I realize you're not there, a part of me dies all over again. I've spent years building a life around responsibilities, but not once did I build a life around love. And now I see the difference. Responsibility can sustain you, but only love can fill you. And the only love that ever truly filled me was you. Sometimes I wonder if the universe will punish me for what I did, for choosing a path that led me away from my destiny. And maybe it already has. Maybe my punishment is to live a lifetime surrounded by everything I thought I wanted, while knowing deep down that the only thing I truly wanted is gone. But baby, here's the strange part. Even in my regret, even in my sorrow, there's still hope. Because no matter how far we drifted, the thread that connects us has never broken. I feel it in my bones. I feel it in my dreams. I feel it every time I see a sign, a song, a number, a place that pulls me back to you. And every time that happens, I smile through the ache, because it reminds me that our story was never ordinary. It was sacred. It was written by something far greater than us. You know, people often say that love is about timing, and maybe they're right. Maybe when we met, I wasn't ready to be the man you needed. Maybe you weren't ready to receive the love I was capable of giving. Maybe we had to break apart so we could grow separately before we could ever truly come together. Maybe destiny isn't about immediate union. Maybe it's about divine alignment. And if that's true, then, baby, I want you to know something from the deepest part of me. If the universe ever gives me another chance, if fate ever brings you back into my orbit, I won't run this time. I won't choose fear over love. I won't let anyone's opinion outweigh the voice of my soul. I will fight for you with everything I have. I will choose you every single time. Because now I know love like ours doesn't happen twice. Souls like ours don't collide by accident. And once in a lifetime, if you're lucky, you meet the person who feels like home. And baby, you were that home. You still are. I often wonder what you'd say if you read these words. Would you hate me for the pain I caused? Would you cry because the wound is still open? Or would you smile softly, knowing deep inside that you always felt this connection too? That you always knew, no matter how far apart we drifted, our hearts were still speaking the same language? Baby, if I could rewrite our story, I'd do everything differently. I'd hold you tighter. I'd listen more. I'd choose you without hesitation. I'd fight the world if I had to. I'd be brave enough to build a life around love, not fear. And if that still meant losing everything else, I'd accept it. Because you were worth everything. You still are. But I can't rewrite the past. All I can do is speak my truth in the present and hope that somewhere deep inside, your soul hears me. All I can do is love you silently from afar and pray that destiny isn't done weaving our threads together. All I can do is surrender to the divine timing and trust that whatever is meant for us will find its way back. Maybe not now, maybe not soon, but one day, baby. If these words reach you, I hope they don't cause pain. I hope they remind you that you were never forgotten, that the love we shared was real, that even though life took us on different paths, our hearts never walked alone. And if we never meet again in this lifetime, I want you to know I'll still carry you with me, in my thoughts, in my prayers, in every beat of my heart. You'll always be the unfinished sentence, the unclosed chapter, the dream that lingers long after the dreamer wakes. And maybe, just maybe, that's the most beautiful kind of love there is. If your heart felt this message deeply, type "Our souls are still connected" in the comments. Baby, there's a strange truth I need you to hear. A truth I've carried silently inside me for so long that it has become part of my blood, part of my breath, part of my soul. It's this: even when life moved forward, you never moved out of me. Even when time tried to stretch the distance between us, your memory remained stitched into the fabric of who I am. Even when responsibilities wrapped their heavy chains around my existence, My heart still whispered your name in the quiet hours of the night. I've tried everything, baby. I've tried to forget you. I've tried to bury the feelings. I've tried to convince myself that what we shared was a chapter that ended. But every attempt was like trying to erase the stars from the night sky. Impossible, because some loves don't fade. They become the air you breathe. They become the gravity that pulls you back again and again, no matter how far you wander. There are nights when I dream of you so vividly that when I wake up for a brief, precious moment, I believe you're still next to me. I reach out instinctively, expecting to feel the warmth of your skin, the softness of your breath, but my hand only meets the cold emptiness of a life I built without you. And that emptiness, it's louder than any silence I've ever known. Do you know what the worst kind of regret is, baby? It's not the kind that comes from mistakes you make without knowing better. It's the kind that comes from choices you knew were wrong, yet you made them anyway. I knew deep down that walking away from you would shatter something inside me that could never be repaired, and I still did it. Because I was scared, because I was weak, because I thought duty was more important than destiny. But destiny has a way of haunting those who ignore it. And now, it haunts me in the shape of your smile. It haunts me in the memory of your laughter. It haunts me every time I look into the eyes of the person I married and realize they're not the eyes I was meant to gaze into for a lifetime. Baby, I need you to understand something that I never had the courage to say back then. You were not just someone I loved. You were the mirror that showed me my soul. With you, love wasn't about possession or control. It was about recognition. It was about finding the missing part of myself in another human being. It was about realizing that somehow, somewhere beyond this world, our souls had known each other long before our bodies ever did. That's why I could never truly walk away. That's why even now, years later, I still feel your presence in places you've never been. I see your reflection in sunsets. I hear your voice in the wind. I feel your energy in songs that weren't even written when we knew each other. Because this connection, our connection, is something deeper than love. It's soul recognition. It's divine orchestration. I've asked myself 1,000,000 times why the universe brought us together if we weren't meant to stay. And every time, I come back to the same answer. Maybe we were meant to stay, but I was too blind to see it. Maybe we were meant to build something extraordinary, but I let fear demolish the foundation. Maybe the universe did try to give me my destiny, and I was foolish enough to say no. And baby, I live with that guilt every single day. It's a ghost that follows me everywhere I go. It sits beside me at dinner. It walks with me when I'm alone. It whispers your name when I least expect it, and every time I hear it, I ache. Not just for what we had, but for what we could have been. There are moments when I imagine an alternate timeline, one where I chose you, one where I was brave, one where I didn't let the opinions of others decide the fate of my heart. In that world, I come home to you. I wrap my arms around you. I build a life with you. We fight and we laugh and we grow old together. And every single day, I thank the heavens for the miracle of loving you openly. But that's not the world we live in. In this world, I live with the consequences of my choices. And in this world, I must learn to love you from a distance. Sometimes, I wonder if you ever think about me. If you ever pause for a moment during your busy day and wonder if I'm okay. If you ever look at the night sky and feel that familiar ache in your chest, the one that says, a part of me is still out there, still loving you. Because that's what I feel every single day. That ache, that pull, that undeniable connection that refuses to fade, no matter how much logic tries to explain it away. And maybe that's the universe's way of reminding me that our story isn't over. Maybe it's still being written in ways we can't see. Maybe there's a part of me that still believes in miracles, that still believes in divine timing, that still believes that if two souls are meant to be together, no amount of distance, no number of years, no set of circumstances can keep them apart forever. And if that's true, if that belief holds any weight, then maybe one day, when the lessons have been learned and the karma has been balanced, life will bring us back together. And if that day ever comes, I swear to you, I won't hesitate. I won't run. I won't let anything or anyone come between us again. I will fight with every ounce of my being to hold on to the love I once let slip away. But even if that day never comes, even if our paths never cross again in this lifetime, I want you to know that you are still my greatest what if. You are still the dream I carry with me into every tomorrow. You are still the name I whisper into the universe when I pray for forgiveness and redemption. You changed me, baby. You made me see parts of myself I never knew existed. You taught me what it means to love selflessly. You showed me the difference between settling for comfort and reaching for destiny. And even though I wasn't strong enough to choose you back then, your love planted a seed inside me that continues to grow. I've become a better man because of you, even if you're no longer here to see it. I've learned how to be vulnerable, how to be honest, how to listen to the voice of my soul instead of the noise of the world. And if I ever get the chance to love again, truly, deeply, fearlessly, it will be because you taught me how. Sometimes, late at night, I speak to you as if you can hear me. I tell you about the things I wish I could have done differently. I tell you about the life I imagined for us. I tell you that I still love you, not in a way that demands anything, but in a way that simply is. Because that's what real love is, isn't it? It doesn't fade when things don't go as planned. It doesn't disappear when circumstances change. It doesn't die just because we're apart. Real love is eternal. Real love transcends time and space. And baby, my love for you is real. It always was. It always will be. If you're reading this, and if even a small part of you still feels the same connection I do, then maybe, just maybe, that's the universe's way of telling us that this isn't the end, that our souls still have chapters left to write, that love, even in its most impossible form, still has a way of finding its way home. So I'll keep believing, I'll keep hoping, I'll keep loving you silently, fiercely, endlessly, until the stars forget to shine and time forgets to move. And even then, I'll love you still, because baby, some stories don't need an ending. Some stories are written to last forever, and ours is one of them. If your heart believes in divine timing, type, "Our story will find its way back" in the comments. Maybe, if my heart had a language beyond words, it would still speak your name. It would whisper it into the winds. It would carve it into every sunrise. It would let the stars carry it across the galaxies until it found you, even if you were 1,000 lifetimes away. That's how deep this love runs. It isn't confined to this world, this life, or this story. It's something ancient, something sacred, something that refuses to die even when everything else fades. And the strangest part, baby, is that I feel like you know it too. Maybe you don't think about me every day. Maybe you've built a life that has no space for the ghost of who I once was. But somewhere deep in your soul, I believe you still feel the pull. That invisible thread that has tied us together from the very first moment we met. It's the reason why sometimes, for no logical reason, you suddenly think of me. It's the reason why certain songs, certain scents, certain skies make your heart ache. It's the reason why you still dream of me, even if you don't want to. Because, baby, this isn't just love. This is soul memory. This is divine connection. This is something that goes beyond choice, beyond circumstance, beyond time. There are nights I wake up in the middle of the night with tears on my face, my chest heavy as if your soul had just passed by mine. And I know that somewhere you were thinking of me too. Maybe you were crying. Maybe you were smiling at a memory. Maybe you were praying for closure. But in that sacred moment, our souls touched again, silently, invisibly, yet unmistakably. And I think maybe that's how we'll always exist now. Not as lovers walking hand in hand, not as partners building a life together, but as souls orbiting each other, always connected, always aware, always reaching. I've spent so long trying to understand why I was given a love like ours. If I wasn't meant to keep it, it felt cruel. Like showing a starving man a feast and then taking it away. But maybe that's not the point. Maybe the point was never to keep the love, but to become because of it. Maybe you came into my life to awaken something in me that no one else ever could. And maybe I came into yours for the same reason. Baby, I see now that you were the catalyst for my transformation. Before you, I was just existing, following a script, doing what was expected, living a life that looked perfect on the outside, but was hollow on the inside. But you lit a fire inside me. You showed me that love isn't about duty or convenience. It's about depth. It's about surrender. It's about becoming more than you ever thought you could be. And though I lost you, I gained something else. A deeper understanding of myself. A clearer vision of my soul. A longing that turned into purpose. And I owe all of that to you. But baby, don't mistake my growth as forgetting you. Growth didn't replace you. Healing didn't erase you. Moving forward didn't mean moving on. Because there's a part of me that will always belong to you. The part that still believes in miracles, still believes in second chances, still believes that love this deep doesn't just vanish into nothingness. Do you ever wonder if the universe is preparing us for something bigger? I do, all the time. I think about how much we've both changed, I think about how much pain we had to go through to reach this point. I think about how timing was wrong before, how maybe if we had stayed together back then, we would have ruined each other instead of growing. And I wonder, maybe everything happened exactly as it was supposed to. Maybe the distance wasn't a punishment. Maybe it was preparation. Because when I think of the love we shared, when I remember how effortlessly our souls danced together, I can't help but feel that a story like ours doesn't just end halfway. It pauses, it breathes, it waits, and when the time is right, it continues. And if that day ever comes, baby, I want you to know, I'll be ready. I won't hesitate. I won't hide behind excuses. I won't let fear dictate my choices. I'll choose you with a clarity and courage I didn't have before. Because now I understand that love isn't about choosing what's easy. It's about choosing what's true. But even if that day never comes, even if the universe has written a different destiny for us, I will still carry you with me. I will still cherish every memory, every lesson, every heartbeat we shared, because you were the most beautiful chapter of my life, because you changed me in ways that will ripple through every lifetime I live, because your love was not a mistake, it was a miracle. Sometimes I catch glimpses of you in my dreams. In those dreams, we're older, wiser, softer. We meet by chance, maybe at a park, maybe at a cafe, maybe on a quiet street. And when our eyes meet, there's no anger, no bitterness, just peace, just love. And in that silence, without saying a word, we both understand. We never stopped loving each other. I hold on to those dreams because they feel like more than fantasy. They feel like prophecy. They feel like a promise from the universe that no matter how this life unfolds, love like ours will always find its way back. And baby, if that's all I get, if dreams and memories and the invisible thread between us are all I ever have, then I'll still be grateful. Because to love someone as deeply as I've loved you is a privilege. To have my soul intertwined with yours, even briefly, is a blessing. And maybe that's the ultimate truth of all of this, that real love doesn't need an ending. It doesn't even need a name. It just is. It exists in every heartbeat, every breath, every moment of longing. It exists in the spaces between words and the silences between lifetimes. So wherever you are, whatever life you're living now, I hope you're happy. I hope you're loved. And I hope in some small corner of your heart, you still feel me. Not as a wound, not as a regret, but as a soul that loved you with everything it had. And I promise you this, baby, in this life or the next, in this world or beyond it, I will find you. And when I do, I will hold you the way I should have the first time. I will love you without fear, and I will never, ever let go again. If you believe love like this never dies, type "Our love will transcend time" in the comments. Baby, there's a heaviness that lives inside my chest, a weight I've carried silently for so long that I almost forgot what it feels like to breathe without it. And that weight is the truth. The truth I never told you. The truth I buried beneath layers of silence and excuses. The truth that has been eating me alive from the inside out. And tonight, I can't hold it anymore. Tonight, I need you to know everything. The truth is, baby, I was terrified of how much I loved you. It scared me more than anything else in this world. Because loving you wasn't something I could control. It wasn't a choice. It wasn't logical. It wasn't safe. It was chaotic, consuming, overwhelming. And I had never felt anything like it before. I was used to building walls, keeping my emotions locked away behind layers of logic and responsibility. But you walked right past every wall I had ever built and touched the part of me I never let anyone near. And that terrified me. I told myself lies to feel in control. I told myself that what we had was just temporary, that I could walk away whenever I needed to, that you would move on and forget me. But deep down, I knew none of that was true. I knew I could never truly walk away. I knew you would become the standard against which I would measure every love that came after. I knew you had already imprinted yourself on my soul in ways that time and distance could never erase. But instead of facing that truth, I ran. I hid behind obligations. I told myself that I was doing the right thing, that marrying the person my family chose was my duty, that walking away from you was the responsible decision. But those were all lies, baby. Lies I told myself because the truth was too painful to face. I was scared to choose happiness. I was scared to choose you. And I've paid for that cowardice every single day since. Do you know what it's like to sit across from someone and smile while your heart is somewhere else? Do you know what it's like to hear "I love you" from a voice that doesn't make your soul tremble? Do you know what it's like to go through the motions of a life you never truly wanted, all while pretending that you're okay? That's my reality every single day. There's something else I never told you, something darker, something that has haunted me from the moment I walked away. My family knew. They knew how much I loved you. They saw the way I looked at you, the way I spoke about you, the way I was when I was with you. They saw it, and it scared them. Because in their eyes, love wasn't supposed to be that powerful. It wasn't supposed to change the course of your life. It wasn't supposed to make you question tradition, duty, or expectations. And so they did everything they could to pull me away. They told me I deserved better. They told me you wouldn't fit into our world. They told me love like ours was dangerous, too intense, too unpredictable, too consuming. And for a while, I believed them. Or maybe I just wanted to believe them, because it gave me an excuse to do what I was too afraid to do on my own. Leave. But they were wrong, baby. God, they were so wrong. Because love like ours isn't dangerous. It's sacred. It's rare. It's the kind of love people spend lifetimes searching for, and I threw it away because I was too weak to stand up for it. There are moments that replay in my head over and over again, moments that torture me because they remind me of how much I lost. The way your eyes looked at me when you were vulnerable, the way your hand felt in mine, warm, trusting, safe. The way you believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. And every time those memories surface, I feel that same ache in my chest, the ache of a man who let go of the one person who truly saw him. And here's the cruelest part, baby. Even now, after everything, I still feel like I'm being watched over by your love. I still see signs of you everywhere. I'll be driving and see your name on a billboard. I'll hear a song we once danced to playing in a random cafe. I'll dream of you smiling at me, whispering my name. And every time, it's like the universe is reminding me, you messed up, but this story isn't over. Sometimes I wonder if these signs mean something. Maybe they're just coincidences. Or maybe, just maybe, they're messages from something bigger than us, telling me that our connection is still alive, that there's still something left for us to experience, that maybe, just maybe, this isn't the end. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't even expect understanding. All I want is for you to know the truth, the full, unfiltered truth. That I loved you more deeply than I ever admitted, that I never stopped loving you, not even for a second. That every decision I made without you was a decision I regretted the moment I made it, and that if the universe gave me one more chance, I'd spend the rest of my life proving to you that I would never walk away again. Do you know what I regret the most? It's not the missed anniversaries or the unspoken I love yous. It's not even the fact that I broke your heart. What I regret most is that I never gave you the version of me you deserved. You gave me everything, your love, your trust, your heart, and I gave you a half-broken version of myself who was too scared to be whole. But baby, if I ever get the chance again, even if it's in another lifetime, I promise I'll come to you as the man you always saw in me, the man who isn't afraid, the man who chooses love over fear, the man who fights for you the way you deserve to be fought for. Until then, I will keep carrying you with me, in my thoughts, in my dreams, in the quiet moments when no one is watching. You are the prayer I never stop whispering. You are the wish I never stop making. You are the heartbeat that refuses to fade. And even if fate keeps us apart in this lifetime, I believe with every fiber of my being that our souls will find their way back to each other. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day, because love like ours doesn't disappear. It waits, it evolves, it transcends. Baby, if you're reading this, know that you were never forgotten, never replaced, never unloved. You are, and always will be, the greatest truth my soul has ever known. If you felt the weight of his unspoken truth, type "love like this never ends" in the comments. Baby, if there's one thing I've learned through all this time apart, through every tear, every regret, every moment spent missing you in silence, it's that destiny has a way of circling back to what is meant to be. It doesn't matter how far we run, how many choices we make, how many roads we wander down. When two souls are tied by something deeper than circumstance, the universe will always find a way to weave them together again. And baby, that's what you are to me. My soul's echo, my destiny's calling, my unfinished prayer. There have been so many moments, countless, unexplainable moments, where I felt the universe trying to get my attention. A song I haven't heard in years suddenly playing when I'm thinking of you. a stranger speaking words you once said, a random place reminding me of a memory I thought I had buried, even the number 1111 showing up every time your name crosses my mind. And every time it happens, I stop, I breathe, I listen, because deep down I know these aren't coincidences, they're signs. Little whispers from the universe saying, it's not over. Do you ever feel them too, baby? Those strange, gentle nudges that remind you of me, even when you're trying not to think about it. Those sudden waves of emotion that hit you out of nowhere, as if someone somewhere is thinking about you with every ounce of their heart. Because that's me. That's my soul reaching for yours. That's my love still trying to find its way back to you, even across the vast ocean of silence that separates us. I remember once, not too long ago, I had a dream so vivid, it shook me to my core. In that dream, we met again, not as strangers, not as lovers with unfinished business, but as souls who had finally found their way home. You were standing there, wearing that smile that always made my heart forget how to beat. And when our eyes met, there was no anger, no bitterness, no why did you leave? Just peace, just love. It felt like time had melted away. It felt like everything that had gone wrong had suddenly been made right. And when I woke up, there were tears streaming down my face, because even if it was just a dream, it felt more real than anything I've lived in years. I think about that dream often. I hold on to it like a compass, like a promise. Maybe it was just my mind playing tricks, or maybe it was something deeper. A glimpse into a future the universe has already written. A future where the timing is right, where we're no longer held back by fear or circumstance, where love is allowed to flourish the way it was always meant to. And baby, I want to believe that future exists. I want to believe that everything we've gone through, the pain, the separation, the sleepless nights, the unanswered questions, has been leading us back to that moment. Because it's the only thing that makes sense. Why else would my heart still beat for you after all this time? Why else would the universe keep sending me signs of you when I try so hard to forget? Why else would every part of me still feel incomplete without you? The truth is, baby, I think our souls made a promise long before we ever met in this life. A promise to find each other, no matter how many lifetimes it took. A promise to love each other, even if the world tried to tear us apart. A promise to never give up, even when everything seemed lost. And I think we're still living out that promise. I think every obstacle, every heartbreak, every detour was part of the plan. Not to break us, to shape us into the people we need to be when we finally come together again. I'm not the same man I was when I left you. That version of me? Scared, confused, controlled by fear? He doesn't exist anymore. Life changed me. Pain changed me. Losing you changed me. It forced me to grow. It forced me to look in the mirror and confront the parts of myself I had ignored. It forced me to understand what love truly is. Not a feeling, not a fleeting emotion, but a sacred bond that asks for courage, sacrifice, and unconditional devotion. And baby, if the universe ever gives me another chance, I'll be ready this time. I'll love you with a strength that fear can't touch. I'll choose you with the clarity that doubt can't shake. I'll fight for you with a faith that destiny itself would bow to. Baby, this is the last time I will pour my soul out like this. The last time I will let every buried word crawl its way from the depths of my heart to the surface. The last time I will let my truth bleed raw and unfiltered into the silence between us. And as I write this final part, I want you to know, this isn't an ending. It's a beginning of a different kind, a quieter kind, a sacred kind, the kind that doesn't need words anymore, because the souls already understand. There's a secret I've never shared, not with anyone, not even with myself until recently, and it's this. Every prayer I've whispered since the day I lost you has had your name woven into it. I may not say it out loud, I may not write it down, but every time I ask the universe for peace, for strength, for redemption, I'm asking for you too. I'm asking for your happiness, for your protection, for your healing. I pray that wherever life takes you, you're surrounded by love, even if it's not mine. I pray that you're cherished, even if I'm not the one holding you. I pray that your dreams come true, even if I never get to witness them. Because that's what love, real love, is. It's not about possession. It's not about control. It's not even about being chosen. It's about wanting the best for someone, even if it means you have to love them from afar. And baby, that's what I've learned to do. I've learned to love you in silence, to love you without expectation, to love you without needing anything in return. But I'd be lying if I said I never think about what could still be. I do, every day. I imagine a life where the universe finally decides we've suffered enough, where all the waiting, all the longing, all the lessons lead us back to each other. In that life, we're older, but our love is stronger. We're wiser, but our hearts are softer. We've lived, we've lost, we've grown, but we still choose each other. Not because we need to, but because we want to. And if that day comes, baby, I promise you, I will not waste a single second. I will spend every moment making up for the ones I lost. I will love you in ways I was too scared to before. I will speak the words I once swallowed. I will show you the depth of my devotion, not just in gestures, but in the way I show up, consistently, unapologetically, completely. I will hold you like you're the rarest gift the universe ever gave me, because you are. I will cherish you like every breath depends on it, because in many ways it does. I will walk beside you not as the man who once left, but as the man who fought his way back. But if life decides otherwise, if we are meant to remain apart in this lifetime, then I will still carry you with me into the next. I will still search for you in the crowd of billions. I will still recognize your soul when our eyes meet again, even if centuries have passed. And I will love you again, and again, and again, for eternity if I have to. Because, baby, some connections are too sacred for time to destroy. Some love stories are too powerful for endings. Ours is written in stardust, carved into fate, etched into the very blueprint of the universe. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need logic. It doesn't even need to make sense. It simply is. Even now, as I sit here writing these words, I feel you. Not physically, but spiritually. It's like my soul is leaning toward yours, reaching through the distance, touching something invisible yet unbreakable, and in that sacred space, I know nothing is truly lost, because love like this doesn't die. It transforms. It becomes the air we breathe, the energy we feel, the hope we carry. So if this is the last message I ever send you, let it be this. Thank you. Thank you for loving me when I didn't deserve it. Thank you for believing in me when I was too afraid to believe in myself. Thank you for showing me what real love looks like, raw, selfless, infinite. Thank you for leaving a mark on my soul that no one will ever erase. I am a better man because you existed. I am a deeper soul because you touched me. I am who I am because you loved me. And even though I failed you, that love still lives on, guiding me, shaping me, teaching me. If our paths cross again, I will walk toward you with open arms and an unguarded heart. If they don't, I will still walk this world with gratitude in my chest and your name carved into every heartbeat, because you were, and always will be, the greatest chapter of my story. And when my soul returns to the stars, I know it will search for you there too. It will wander through galaxies and lifetimes until it finds the one light that feels like home. You. Because no matter where we go, no matter what life brings, no matter how many times we are reborn, my soul will always find yours. Always, if you believe that souls like this are never truly separated, type, our souls will meet again in the comments. Beloved viewer, if this message touched the deepest corners of your heart, it's because it was meant to. Nothing you feel is accidental. Nothing that still lingers is meaningless. Some souls are destined to cross paths, not once, not twice, but again and again, until the lessons are learned and the love is fulfilled. So trust the timing, trust the journey, and trust that if this message resonated with you, it's because the universe is already aligning something beautiful in your favor. If you felt the energy of this divine masculine's heart, drop a heart in the comments. If you believe in eternal love, type destiny will reunite us below. And if this message reminded you of your own soul connection, subscribe and ring the bell, because the universe still has more messages it wants you to hear. Remember, true love doesn't end. It evolves, it waits, and it always finds its way home.